Origin JumpWorks. It's the first name in luxury in the Star Citizen universe, and with the newly revamped 300i that's currently flyable in Alpha 3.5, we know that folks have been waiting to see more about the series variants, as well as how they tie into the upcoming ship customization system ahead of the Origin Celebration event that's just around the corner. It's a really long sentence. Over the next few episodes, we'll look to explore some of these aspects ahead of their release, starting with this week's look at the 300 series variants themselves with our very own Chris Smith.
The 300i is going to be the testbed for the customization system that we're rolling out soon. As far as the materials go, the smooth lines, I try to incorporate all that kind of stuff into the 300i, but still yet, keep the 300i spirit alive. And it's actually very exciting because the style guide for the Origin series has changed quite a bit. Even though a lot of people like the original 300i visually, I think practically it wasn't the best ship. A lot of other ships have overtaken it in that regard. I like the way it's sleeker now. I think it's more Origin than the other one was. It just fits in better now. Another thing is I think the interior's improved a lot. The fact that we can have different cargo units that we have, and we have different unit sizes for the different variances, I think is a big highlight. So I really wanted to make the interior feel bigger, more luxury. There was some community feedback I took into account as well. Some of the earlier shots, there were comments made and stuff like that. Some people were happy, some were not, which all informed my overall design language and sort of the ways I was going with it. We're adding a lot more options, and we finally get to add these kind of customization options that we've been wanting to do for a long time, like coloring, extra parts, racing parts, and you can intermix all these parts together, including all the colors that we have. So yeah, it's all very exciting. It's going to give a lot of options to the player.
A vehicle in the Star Citizen universe isn't just the paint and form you can see from the outside, or the amount of cargo and legroom found within. It's all that and the individualized components that will determine much of the performance character for any ship that you call your own. And members of our props team have been working to define that discriminate personality between ship components and their sub-items. And now we've got Joel to show us just a little bit about this process.
Here we have a medium power plant. It's been opened up so you can see the interior and the sub-items within. Something that's quite important for us is that the interiors look and feel like these pieces of machinery that function rather than having these sort of empty boxes that hold sub-items. One of the functions of having an interior is so that you can replace and change about the sub-items within. So we have these mechanisms that open up and display the sub-items in front of the player so you can pull them out and put new ones in. You'll see here from the inside the interior here that the sub-items are quite dense and complex in design, especially when compared to the exteriors. Another thing that's quite important to us is brand identity. So other than the obvious decals with logos on littered about, we want the forms to describe the manufacturer. So in this Aegis one, you've got a lot of flowing shapes, a lot of double chamfers, quite sophisticated, where in contrast you've got lightning power where everything's a bit more utilitarian, there's more function over form sort of stuff going on. So what we've got here is, from an art standpoint, sub-items are finished, and we've got them all lined up here. We've got the manufacturers going along here, and aside each one you'll see a destroyed state. The idea is that over time these become worn and eventually destroyed, hence why you need to replace them. So each one has its own broken variant. So although the gameplay is still being worked on for this, we want the sub-items, the interiors and the ship items to look and feel believable when the player interacts with them, so that this really complements and supports the gameplay when it's ready to come through.
Each week inside Star Citizen is your look at the continuing development of the persistent universe, with a focus on this quarter's patch. But occasionally, when the stars align, we get to take a leap ahead and look at something that's a bit farther down the line. And that's exactly what I said in the first episode. Yeah, all right, well, it still applies. This week, we sat down with Oslin from the Environment Art team as she took us through her team's work developing the bioengineered plant life found on New Babbage, the upcoming first landing zone for the planet Microtech.
So we are currently working on all the vegetation for Microtech, including some very unique plants that you can only find in New Babbage, which is the main landing zone of Microtech. And since it's very cold on Microtech, the people built domes in the cities to provide a warm climate. And in those domes, scientists started to research on how it would be possible to genetically modify plants. And here you can see a few examples of those plants. And they tried to change the usual pattern you can find on the leaf. For example, here they added some carbon fiber patterns, or they added some kind of fractal patterns. They also put the DNA of a vandul plant into a human flower, and this is the result of that. And this plant is one of the main attractions you can find in New Babbage. This plant here is also interesting because they changed the growth pattern of the roots in order to make the plant much stronger, so it could grow taller and the leaves could also be much larger than usually. They also invented a new laser technology to cut in those tiny fractal patterns into this banana leaf. And I'll just drop a human character so you can get a size comparison. And you can see the plants are quite large thanks to the changes the scientists made in their DNA. You can check out all the plants I just showed you once we release Microtech. And there you can also find a much more detailed description to every single plant, so you have a bit more background story to them as well.
So, what did we learn this week? We learned that the 300 series is looking to reclaim its spot atop the list of best-looking spaceships in the galaxy. For ship components, it really is what's inside that matters. And on Microtech, even the plants come with a manufacturer's warranty. Probably. To our subscribers, our thanks each week for making this show possible. And to every Star Citizen out there, we'll see you next week.
Thanks for watching. For the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42, you can subscribe to our channel, or you can check out some of the other shows, and you can also head to our website at www.robertsspaceindustries.com. Thank you very much for watching.